My 23 female, brother 27, called me from the police station 4 days ago, asking me to come pick him up because he got arrested for driving while drinking and didn't want our parents to know. I refused. I told him that I had to get ready for school and didn't have the time to drive by the police station. He answered that I could still take 5 minutes for my brother. I said, no, I can't, because if I take 5 minutes, I'll be late for work. He still insisted on me coming to pick him up because he didn't want to call our parents. I answered that if he didn't want to have to call our parents from the police station, then he shouldn't have been drinking and driving, and I hung up. I received a text from him around 10 a.m. saying that what I did was messed up, that he had to call our parents at 6 a.m., and they were super mad at him. But I've surprisingly also received a text from my mom telling me that although she's not happy about my brother, I still should have picked him up because family's family and more important than work. My dad told me not to feel guilty about anything and that they would have found out eventually. I still feel guilty because now my brother refuses to speak to me until I apologize. Am I the idiot? He had to call our parents even though he didn't want them to know. I'm pretty sure he got his car taken away. There are taxis, but I don't know how much money he had on him. And now he's refusing to talk to me. I love flipping these around. I was caught driving under the influence, and my sister wouldn't skip work to bail me out. So now I'm not speaking to her. What a witch. Not the idiot, all the way. If your 27-year-old brother can't even face up to his parents and take responsibility for his actions, that's a him problem. In your parents' shoes, I'd have waited a day. My parents would be too busy selling my car to come pick me up. Hopefully at 27, his parents aren't still paying for his car. But if they are, it might explain the arrested development of a 27-year-old who drives under the influence and calls his sis to bail him out. It would also go well with the mother's reaction. The brother's probably mommy's golden child. I thought this too. Mom babies the son and has deemed him the golden child. Helping or saving him from the consequences of his horrible choices is more important than OP's employment. Freaking crazy talk right there. She should risk her livelihood, always, because her brother should always come first and be a priority? It's wild how some people can't even do the bare minimum. So many options nowadays to avoid driving drunk. Seriously, from the story, I would expect him to be 17, not 27. Did he have the money to drink but not for a taxi? Doesn't he have apps like Uber with electronic payment? Payment apps like Venmo? Doesn't he have a friend that could get him? Your brother did have other options, namely your parents, and if he didn't want to wake them up, he could have been resourceful and found someone else. Don't feel guilty. Keep your head up. He was an idiot to call you in the first place. OP, please inform your mother that you're not talking to your brother, not the other way around. You cannot overcome your deep disappointment over his selfish, dangerous, and criminal behavior. You hope that he's able to get help, but you don't want to be tarred with the same brush by associating with him. He's covered in shame, or should be, and you're choosing to distance yourself from the behavior that he's modeling as an older brother. Tell your mother to get over the family BS and ask how she'd feel if he had killed someone while driving. A little time in jail is too good for him. Something tells me that he's only sorry he got caught. You're supposed to apologize? Ha! And bravo to your dad for having some sense. My partner and I have been together for nearly 3 years. Lately, she's been coming to me saying, I love you. Then as soon as I say it back, she'll respond with, do you though? I answer, yes. And she just says she doesn't think I do. I ask why she thinks that, and she'll shrug and say she doesn't know. It started happening more frequently now, so she'll ask me if I love her, and when I answer yes, she'll just repeat she doesn't think I do. I've tried getting her to talk about it, if she actually feels like that or she's just joking, but she won't talk about it. I do a lot for my girlfriend, so it's starting to get me down to hear it. I tried telling her how it made me feel, but she still did it. I told her she should stop saying it because I was not going to be guilt-tripped. I said I was happy to sit and actually have a conversation, about why she was feeling like that. Still, I'm not going to repeatedly be told she doesn't think I love her without her expanding on it all. She said I was being unreasonable for snapping at her when she hadn't done anything wrong. I told her she's regularly making me feel like a bad boyfriend and refusing to say why she thinks that. So unless she'll talk about it, she needs to stop saying it. She said I was being too harsh on her, but I just said she had no consideration for how her words make me feel. Am I the idiot for telling my partner I won't be guilt-tripped? Ugh, your partner sounds very manipulative. This would drive me crazy. You are not the idiot. Kinda wonder if she's projecting. This is actually a really good point, almost as if she's trying to hide something by using these crappy mind games. This sounds like someone falling out of love with their partner and trying to push them away because they don't want to be the bad guy and end the relationship. What you're asking for is reasonable and healthy. Her behavior, saying I don't know, and not really trying to work through it with you, not so much. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it sounds like her response of, "Do you though?" suggests that she's been expecting a marriage proposal. The absence of one is making her question if you do indeed love her. You're not the idiot, and I agree. She's trying to manipulate you into proposing. I expect adult levels of communication ability from the adults I date. If my partner's trying to start a fight because she doesn't know how to express herself, I make it very clear that I'm not going to put up with manipulative games or conversational traps. If she has a problem, I expect us to sit down and communicate like adults about it. She accuses you of not loving her, doesn't explain herself, and then calls you unreasonable when you call her out. Run, or you are in for a world of manipulation and gaslighting. My parents split when I was a preteen, and my brother Harrison was in kindergarten. My mom didn't want to share custody. She's explained her reasons to me, but I still don't fully understand her perspective. I've lived with my dad, and my mom visits us occasionally, but I haven't had any real contact with Harrison since he was a kindergartner. In our bi-monthly phone calls, Mom has always insisted that everything was fine. Well, for the first time, Mom brought Harrison to visit me and my dad, and it became obvious to me and my dad that everything had not been fine for the past 8 years. Harrison is severely attached to video games. If he's asked to get off the video game or something else he doesn't like, he'll scream at my mom and show her the finger. He failed most of his classes this year because he barely completed his homework. Harrison's school made an offer to my mom that if Harrison did summer school, it would be all online without any live lessons or meetings, so entirely at Harrison's pace. Then they would pass him, and he would be able to graduate from 8th grade to high school in August. The issue is that my mom says she can't force Harrison to do his schoolwork. She said she also can't handle Harrison anymore because he's a big kid and is still growing. My mom said that she wants poor Harrison to live with my dad and me for the summer so that my dad can hopefully get Harrison to start listening to her. My dad told her he didn't want to. Harrison may be my brother, but I also don't want him living with us. I don't want to suddenly share my room with Harrison or be unable to have friends over anymore because Harrison will be screaming and throwing fits. Plus, my dad works full-time, and I'd likely have to hover over Harrison and fight with him over doing his schoolwork. During a phone call a few days ago, my mom begged me to try changing my dad's mind because she said I was the only one who could convince him. I told my mom that I loved her, but that Harrison was a mess that she made, and therefore, she was the one who had to deal with him. I don't want my summer ruined by being Harrison's babysitter and dealing with him throwing fits 24/7. Also, Harrison is a big kid, but he's still a young teen. She could just sell his video games and block all non-school related sites on his computer, and there's literally nothing he'd be able to do about it. LOL. I talked about this to my best friend Ty. He said he sympathizes a lot with my mom because he also has a brother like Harrison, except Ty's brother has a diagnosed mental disorder, and his issues aren't because of the way he's been parented. A friend said that removing the video games isn't as easy as I'm making it out to be. and that putting up with my brother's fits 24/7 is what my mom has done for the past 8 years, so I could at least give up one summer out of love to try and help her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your mom just wants to make her own life easier by putting the burden on you and your dad. She needs to step up, admit that she's failing Harrison, and get both of them professional help. Sending him to your dad won't help because he doesn't see either of you as an authority figure. It isn't your job to clean up your mother's mess. And even if your dad did step in and was effective, what do you think will happen when mom takes over again? Mom needs a parenting class, and both she and your brother could use help from a social worker or other professional. Your brother may also benefit from addiction counseling. The bottom line is this situation doesn't seem like it can be resolved without hard work from mom and brother. She's the parent, not you. Info: why did your dad agree to this arrangement where he doesn't see his son? You are definitely not the idiot, and everything you said here is reasonable, including what you said to your mom. However, your dad might be one right along with her because there's missing information on why he went along with this arrangement. Yeah, that is really weird. I wonder if OP's brother is an affair baby, and that's why the dad was okay with cutting him out of his life at that young age. It doesn't say anywhere that he's the dad of both boys. As a parent, I can't imagine separating my kids and not at least wanting all of them half of the time in the event of divorce. Your mom messed up. You and your dad can give her advice, but she needs to action it. That's not your job. Removing his access to games would be a great first step. My girlfriend and I have been together for about a year, and we recently just moved into our new apartment about 4 months ago. All have been well. She also has a toddler son. The father isn't in the picture, and for the past 4 months, I haven't been working due to having a hard time finding jobs due to the economy. So since my girlfriend is working and paying for everything at the moment, I help her out by cooking and cleaning the house, using my EBT card to help her with groceries, and I babysit her son while she works. Lately, this has become highly exhausting for me. I'm not used to watching kids, but since moving in together, I've had to grow accustomed to this lifestyle, which I try not to complain about, but it's such a hassle. I try to sleep and he makes loud noises with his toys, wakes me by playing with my face, or cries constantly. When I try to play my video games, he chews at the cords, or he has accidents in his underwear, and it is so frustrating to keep bathing him, despite my efforts to potty train him. Today when he poured his soda on my Xbox was the last straw for me. It no longer works, and I now have no source of entertainment. I suggested she put him in daycare, and I found one that would take him for $600 a month. However, my girlfriend found my suggestion to be quite disrespectful. She said that I live rent-free, and my only duty is caring for her son. However, he's become a burden to my life and to my extracurricular activities, and I think she should look into other alternatives for babysitting. Am I the idiot for refusing to be a babysitter for free? Let's stick to the facts that make you at fault. Leeching off your girlfriend, not compensating for being an adult man, and not being able to pay his own rent, utilities, or anything by decently picking up the tasks which need to be done. Wasting time on sleeping and gaming rather than finding a job and doing your chores at home. Sleeping and gaming while watching a toddler? That's a huge safety problem. That's very irresponsible behavior when you're responsible for a 2-year-old. I hope she kicks you out today. You, sir, are a kept man. I doubt your services are worth whatever it is you're costing her, so you'd better earn your keep by being a great babysitter. If you've been playing on your Xbox all day and calling it babysitting, both your girlfriend and her son would be better off without you, and without a doubt, she will eventually come to that conclusion herself. You're dating a woman with a child. Do you want her to pay all the bills and childcare so you can sleep in and play Xbox? You want her to be your mommy too. Get a job. Target and Walmart are always hiring. Fast food places are hiring. Any job is better than no job when you have bills to pay. If you're unwilling to be a step-parent to this child, you must break up immediately. She will always choose the child over you. I realize breaking up will mean you lose your free ride. I, 43 female, recently argued with my ex-husband, Vince, 39. We got divorced when our son, Garrett, was pre-tween years old, and he's now a teen with a boyfriend named Hunter. My current boyfriend, Chris, pays for most things, and I rarely use Vince's child support payments. However, Hunter had an accident, and I've been using child support to pay for his hospital bills lately. I mentioned this to Vince's sister, Angel, while drinking a few weeks ago. Now my ex-husband is threatening to take me to court, accusing me of not using the child support money for our son. I'm frustrated because I thought using it for Hunter's medical expenses was okay. My mom found out about the situation and told me that she knows Garrett loves Hunter, but why should Vince have to pay for someone who's not his child? This made me feel even more confused. When Vince and I talked about it, he said that I was the reason he walked out on us because I always went behind his back to do things. That's not true, but I feel terrible about the whole situation. I want to do what's best for Garrett and Hunter, but I also don't want to upset Vince anymore. Maybe I should have talked to him before using the child support money, but I didn't think it was a big deal. Edit. My son says he doesn't want to go to college because he's convinced that child support will last until he's 30. I keep trying to tell him that it won't, but he refuses to believe it. I'm paying Hunter's bills because he was hurt on my property, and his parents said, since I'm allowing my son to date him, it falls on me. You are the idiot, OP. That's not how any of this works. It would help if you talk to a lawyer about everything, what you're responsible for regarding Hunter, what you can and can't do with the child support payments, everything. Your ex mentioned you always went behind his back. Could that issue be less about deception and more about you being swayed by others and then impulsively acting? So it's please don't sue us payments. Now it makes sense. Child support payments are meant to support one's child, not pay for another kid's medical bills. Vince is correct. You are the idiot. And if taken to court, you could end up in legal trouble for using child support payments to help somebody else's kid. He's convinced that child support will last until he's 30. OMG. If your son is that dumb, then more than anything, you should invest and save the money so he doesn't end up in the street. Sounds like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He's just fine taking money from his biological dad for years. I can't imagine where he learned that from.